Do 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 doom 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 do do doom 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 doom. I want God to come and take me home, 'cause I'm all alone in this crowd. Who are you to me? Nothing sure, you see. Ain't exactly sure to feel anymore. What's this coming to? Can I follow through, or just follow you for a while? Does anyone ever get this right? I feel no love. Bum bum dun 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 bum dun 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 dun. Ain't no confusion here. It is as I fear. The emotions that you feel are real. To be vulnerable is needed most of all if you intend to truly fall apart. You think the worst of all is far behind. The vampire of time and memories has died. I survived. I speak, I breathe. I'm incomplete. I'm alive. Hooray! You're wrong again, 'cause I feel no love. Does anyone ever get this right? That is my musical intro, The Vampire of Time and Memory by Queens of the Stone Age, one of my favorite rock and roll bands of the 21st century. One of the, probably the last bit of new music that I fell in love with. And that's what was going on a decade ago. 2013, you had Like Clockwork. In 2015, you had Villains. Now, Queens of the Stone Age put out a new album last year. What's it called? In Times New Roman. Let's see, that's a pun. I got it on compact disc. I listened to it once. I didn't hear a single. It was okay. I actually am going to see them. Queens of the Stone Age next June. It's rescheduled. There was supposed to have been a show last week, I think, at the Fenway MGM. And welcome to the Super Sully Sunday stream. That's right. Some pop culture. We got comic book reviews. We've got notes written by an actual Pokemon. Show notes written by my executive producer and his assistant. She's their boss, the real boss. The executive assistant to the executive producer, the X-Ray Girl plushie. Over there, we have the Drinker plushie and our Cecilized Canadian Bear from our control booth. They control the camera, the mic, the lighting, the sets, the craft table. I have to speak to them about the crawlers. They were stale. Hello, everyone in the chat that's shown up already. We got Lane Kramer. Hi, we got Bone. Thank you so much. We needed some more cowbell for my musical interlude here. We got Lane Kramer. He just finished reading Detective Comics, the last issue of Ram V. Overall, pretty good ending to the storyline. I overall liked the Gotham Nocturne story, but the only issue was that it was 30 issues of story. And Lane still got to read Absolute Power. Team 7, number 6, and this week's Ultimate Spider-Man, number 9. And as always, Ram Z from Dwayne Muth. Ram V is lost on Dwayne. It's true. Hey, everyone out there in TV land, it's time for your favorite way to spend a few hours on a Sunday. Hanging out together, talking about pop culture, talking about comic books, playing What's in the Bag. What's in the bag? We went to 2 local comic book shops this week. The pull list was rather light. I got to make up on a few books that I've missed. Hello. Hi, Mo. Good to see you. I'm so sorry that your heart is broken and there's been a fire today in Jeddah. I'm sorry. I hope everyone you know is safe and everyone in your family. God bless you. Salam. Yeah, we got 4. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Is that like a place where people meet, or like a Western style mall, like where there's a Wicks and Sticks and Orange Julius, United Colors of Benetton, Chess King, those are stores you could only find in a Western type mall. You would never ever kind of see these stores outside in the wild, like the stores you could only see in the mall. That's good. Thank you. That's you could always rebuild, And yeah, we have 4 new comic books that we bought this week. Relatively new too. A couple of them are from last week. Hey, AL, hello. It is a shopping place. Okay. Yeah. Lane Kramer asks, hey, Mr. Sully, I wanted to hear at some point today, what do you think of Tom Brevoort said Spider-Man will never marry MJ again? I would like to say to Mr. Brevoort, let's see how long that edict sticks after you have left the building and when you have left the building. You've been there long enough. Do you have tenure or something? Or, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to feel about Peter and MJ. I don't feel for it as much as everyone else does. We can talk about it a bit, sure. I mean, let's see. We'll bring up that one in a second, because we also have all the digital comic book. I think, what did I read? 17. I read 17 Marvel comic books this week, and as part of my digital pirate chest. And as always, I'm like, I get into scraps with my Thinking Critical buddies over at Comics Aficionados about my likes and dislikes. I tend to like what they dislike, and I tend to dislike what they like sometimes. We meet in the middle on a lot of stuff. I read a lot of comic books every week, too. I seriously do. And it's because I'm enabled to. One of my reviewer friends shares with me that's what I call the pirate chest. And when sometimes I open up a package and there's like every Dark Horse and Image comic this month. I read a bunch of them. I read most of them. I like to read the issues number 1 of a new story I've never heard of. I like looking at these magazines. They're digital files of a mock-up of what a magazine would look like. I like magazines. I like print periodicals. And so I like things like design, especially like magazine design. I like the look of it. You can tell when you have a badly formatted and badly designed magazine. It's unappealing to the eye. The information isn't succinctly organized. It doesn't follow some kind of like aesthetic of our left to right, reading scanning style here in the West. Oh my goodness, the ad hominem attacks have begun. It's called, I believe it. It's just fantagonism, but is it a mistake? I don't know. A lot of men, a lot of women have first marriages. Some people are lucky. They're they're with the people that they've been with since high school. I know a few couples like that. That's wonderful. Seriously. And but a lot more people that I know are on their second marriage. Is Marvel the world outside your window? I hope not, because it's filled with Pym particles and Galactuses and Thanoses and Red Skulls, but it is a utopia as well. And see, yeah, AL. God bless you. Yeah, exactly. And are Sue and Ralph Dibney still dead? I don't know. It's Rebirth, New 50. Were they even around in the New 52? I don't know. I can't even answer that. Man, that's a bald spot of about 22 years of stories right there. I mean, gee. So yeah, we went to 2 comic book shops this week. My local comic book shop where I have my LCS, but my LCS. That's what local comic shop means, dummy. Yeah, I know, my LCS, my local comic book shop, where I buy weekly new comic books. And I also get my supplies there, my boxes, my boards, my bags. I'm a big angle of this show is I'll come back to MJ, trust me, but I just want to do my LCS spiel. I feel like I haven't done it in a while. Like, this show is all about loving your local comic book shop. I love my local comic book shop and my local shops, plural. I'm in Boston, where I am blessed and grateful to have more than a few comic book shops in striking distance of this very fortress of solitude. Here from our Boston studios, which is down the street from the corner. Eventually, I have to move. The studio will change. You'll notice that come maybe November or December, definitely in the new year. As you all know, my mom passed away. I'm taking over residency in her condo as it was executed in her will. Hey, if I can afford it, I can live there. That's the deal. And I can do that. And we're situating my stepfather, and he's staying with family where he's from in Lynn, and he can, get that kind of more constant care that I can provide. I don't have a car, and Quincy is like an hour trek on public transportation, let alone it's probably like an hour trek in a car at this part, with traffic and everything. But I got to see him this week. I needed to go down and get the mail, and that is a very bouncy ball behind me. Yes, the ladies love it. I'm kidding. It's a yoga ball, and I do a back stretch. A ball. I do 2 yoga asana frequently, 1 daily. All right, I'm doing this because this is a TV show. And Pikachu did not put that in the show notes. This was a verbal and audible. That's me picking out my underwears by X-Ray Girl plushie. Remember, that's not X-Ray Girl. That's X-Ray Girl plushie. Big difference, one's a person. I learned this from my buddy Peter, who's a yoga instructor. I crashed over his place, one drunken Friday or Saturday night. He had a great party, and I slipped it off in the basement. And I pop up, we're having breakfast, and him and his daughter was young at the time, and there's both of them doing this. They can grab their front toes. And I got jealous. I know the kid was kid, so she's like mostly cartilage, but him, he's a year older than me. So I do this for 4 deep ohms in the shower, in the hot shower every day. Hari Om. and my palms are on the floor. I can grab my big toes. You know what I mean? It's a simple yoga stretch, and I do it every day. And it took me a couple of years, and I didn't force the issue, but eventually I was able to grab my big toes. Thank you, Mo. Thank you very much. Seriously. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just been a life altering. And, oh boy. Oh, see, took the opportunity. We taught our daughter how to change a tire today. There you go. It'll turn it into a learning moment. You know, and I'm glad everyone's safe. I hope so. And do we really want sad comic book, you know, characters? I wanted Peter to have like hooked up with Janice's Asian lawyer friend Michelle, and I was hoping her last name was a J too. And so she, like, you know, it would be the Parker look to go from one MJ to another. You know, that's what I feel. And let's see. But still, like, you know, give him another stable relationship. Give him a new girlfriend. I know, listen, MJ is now 3 years older than Peter. I believe canonically, Mary Jane Watson is 1 year younger than Peter Parker, age-wise. Yet MJ spent 4 years in that Zeb Wells pocket universe where she was with Paul and the 2 kids. 4 years passed for her. She is aged 4 years. Now she is 3 years older than Peter Parker. He's either in his late 20s, early 30s, and she may be like in her mid 30s. You know, and you know, the biological clock. My biological clock is ticking, ticking, ticking. That's Marissa Tomei from My Cousin Vinny. She won an Oscar, Best Supporting Actress Oscar for that. And that was her first major role. Oh, wow. She's great in everything. I love Marissa Tomei. But wouldn't MJ want to settle? I could just see like a different story. You know what I mean? She'll always love Peter, and he'll always be her first husband. But she went and married someone else. You know, remember Rebecca Romaman, the supermodel? She played Mystique in the X-Men movies. She was married to John Stamos of Full House. John Stamos, who's also literally one of the fucking Beach Boys. He's a musician and he plays in the Beach Boys backup band. This is true. I mean, look it up. John Stamos is literally one of the Beach Boys. He's like beyond cool, you know. But Rebecca Romanan Stamos and John Stamos divorced. She ended up marrying Jerry O'Connell, science fiction darling Jerry O'Connell. And they have like 3 daughters. They have like this beautiful life kind of thing, you know? And, you know, did Stamos remarry? I don't know. Did he ever have, who knows? I mean, do we like Paul? Does it matter? I mean, honestly, I thought Paul was going to have a reveal to be the next Rabin, because he is Rabin, that he was like, it's like hiding in plain sight, which is, you know, it's one of my favorite things. It's, oh shit, it was you the entire time. Did you ever read 1620 by was it 16? It was like 1601, 1701. It was the Neil Gaiman book about the time swapped Marvel universe back in, like, you know. And Dwayne Muth, you're out there. Help me out. Help me, Dwayne Muth. Yeah. And yeah, Rebecca Romaman, yeah. And not anymore, not for the past 15 years. 1602. Thank you, Mark Howe, and welcome. Good to see you. 1602. I love the original 1602. That was weird. It was fun, and I like the art style in it, and like what became of Stephen Strange, Peter Parker. I mean, and the mysterious girl from the New World who had this Native American protector whose name was Rogers, hiding in plain sight the entire fucking time, obvious as the nose on your face. This is like the alternative Steve Rogers, and it fell in at the last kind of page. Yes, I'm spoiling a 25-year-old comic book. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Yes, they divorced. Yeah. And yeah, Sharon's got to be older than Steve. I love Sharon Carter is some kind of weird intersectional feminist kind of Hillary Clinton stand-in now. She's like the older wine aunt. In action, showing like a very showing a vital and viable, you know what I mean, middle-aged person, yeah. Hey, I'm getting closer. I'm 51. I'll be 52 in 7 weeks. I feel closer to Jay Garrick and to Alan Scott, or even who was the original Wildcat? Was it not Michael Knight? It wasn't Ted Knight? Oh gosh, help me out there. Wildcat, DC Comics, not Yolanda Montez. That's Wildcat 2. Not Ted. Yeah, it was Theodore Ted Grant. And who was Starman? Original Starman. He was a star. Not Bowie. Please start. Not Start Man. It was Jack Knight. Yeah. Falling down the rabbit hole of comic books. But I'm all for Peter doing something new. And MJ especially. MJ, her reward is she doesn't have to have her life in danger anymore. She doesn't have to play hero. She can go be a dentist's mom, like up in upstate New York, or or on Long Island, not too far away. You know what I mean? I mean this. I mean, like, you remember Castaway with Tom Hanks and Helen Hunt? And remember, Helen Hunt held out hope for him all of that time, all the way almost until Act 3. She had this unwavering hope. She was like Penelope to Tom Hanks's Odysseus. But by the end of it, she listened to her friends. She married her dentist. And then he comes home to a changed, moved on world. You know what I mean? And by the end of it, you had the butterfly thing and the FedEx and hope and second chances. And the story continues for our hero. And that's storytelling, and that's drama, and that's romance too. So, I mean, Spidey deserves romance. Spidey deserves a relationship. But I mean, with or without MJ is fine with me. If it makes people happy to have MJ, sure. But for me, maybe I'd like to see MJ, live happily ever after without her life being in danger or being killed by radioactive sperm, like in the Kari Andrews Reign, or, having to worry about her, her superpowered kids. You know what I mean? She can have a normal life. And, and let's give Peter, something else. I'm not saying hey, let's listen to the shippers and everyone's going to be alphabet now. Now we can finally hook up Johnny Storm and Peter Parker. They've been coded for since forever. Huh? Didn't I just say that? Didn't I blow your mind this time? Didn't I? That's right. Didn't I do it, baby? Didn't I do it, baby? I mean, yeah, I don't know. People get really bent out of shape about that too, because it's MJ and it's Peter and it's this classic love story. I was there before MJ and Peter. MJ and Peter started in the mid 80s when I was 14, 15 years old. So, but I remember there was life before MJ. For me, I remember that. Yeah, huh? Exactly. He can do that. Yeah, Pete and Norman. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we're coming back to that, Mo. I hope you're still here for that. Okay. You know what? Here's a preview of something I bought this week. I bought Fantastic Four of 25. It's a variant cover. It's the Francis Manapul variant cover. All right, it's it's a really cool Doctor Doom, variant cover, and the Doom Tyrannosaurus Rex. Sure, but I don't mind the story, and we'll get to it. But this is the story where Johnny falls in love with a centipede girl. Okay, I got nothing but love with this. I got nothing but love for love. Love, exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you. The Love Boat. Soon we'll be making another run. The Love Boat. There's a girl worm. And it's just, I mean, come on. Come on. Don't you have a few regrettable relationships under your belt too? Johnny's he's a cape chaser. He's a strip chaser. He's a ladies' man. But no, he's not. He's been coded with Peter all this time, and we're finally going to get our way. We're finally going to have Peter and Johnny admit their deepest feelings. Can't you see that? I can see that happening. I can see that happening before MJ and Peter get back together. You know what I mean? Let's Iceman them. Let's Bobby Drake them. I don't know. Maybe. You never know. Hey, Fear Monarch, how you doing? Good to see you. This is right, yeah. Steamy. Yeah, it was back when I was a kid too. Yeah, I'm not like, I don't have to be sold on I don't have to be sold on Felicia being Peter's girlfriend. That offers no safety for him. He's always going to be worried about her. You know what I mean? Sure, they make a great adventure couple. Antics. It's two Batman, Catwoman. She is a jewel thief. She is an anti-hero. I don't, whatever they want to do to her orientation at this point. I mean, that's just modernity. I know. I disagree. I think that the Ryan North stuff has been decent, more than decent. There have been a few stinkers that didn't land with me, sure, but overall, I mean, they've been, I like the one with the house falling and Ben Grimm coming to terms with the dog. It was the simple storytelling thing. We opened the initial thing. We Ben's annoyed by the dog. We have this adventure. We have these story beats. We come to the resolution. And by the end, Ben has reconciled himself with the dog. Now Ben loves the dog. I kind of like that because it's fun. It's familiar. It's just, sure, you have this outrageous fictional situation, this fantastic situation, but it's very grounding with the dog. It's simple. It's overly simple. I don't mind that, and I didn't mind. Like I said, I didn't mind Fantastic 425 at all. I mean, I really didn't. It's a standalone issue. Actually, what I did mind was look at all the Everqueer coloring. I mean, look at all the purple. But the purple is the narrative voice told by our female worm. But on such a background of the purples and stuff, it was kind of hard to read. I mean, it must read better backlit on a tablet. Yo, LT, hello, hail. Good to see you. Hardy hail. But yeah, I mean, and also this reminds me of an Octavia E. Butler. Now, she's one of the premier science fiction writers of the 20th century. Very notable because she's a woman of color and at time and in the civil rights era, basically, around Vonnegut. She's a contemporary of not just Ursula K. Le Guin, but of Kurt Vonnegut and Ray Bradbury. This is and Stephen King. If you never heard of Octavia E. Butler, I mean, may I suggest that you go out and get the Parable of the Sower? Those are really heavy duty kind of science fictions that just and that'll sucker punch you. Also, there's something called Bloodchild. Now, Bloodchild is about a planet very far away from Earth, but our humanity has gone there, and there is a colony of humans there, and they're allowed to live there by the aliens who originated there. So there's like a human colony that's allowed to stay on this alien planet. And it's been years since I've read this book. I read this like when I was a teenager. I just turned, it was the early to mid 80s. I got it in one of those science fiction those like the year's best science fiction from the Sci-Fi Book Club. It was an anthology, a hardcover book. And one of the books that year, one of the short stories was Bloodchild by Octavia E. Butler. And so it was about this young boy. Well, he wasn't a boy anymore. He was coming of age, and he was becoming a teenager. And that's the whole deal. Is like, so when you humans come to term, and the aliens who are kind of insectoid too, you know what I mean, and not completely repulsive, but they would have, the deal was you would have to put your fertilized egg in some part of your body, and so the human's blood would contribute to the egg coming to fruition, and then it would crack, and most of the time the human would survive, and you become a fully vested part of the tribe that way. And there's a ritual too, because it's very intimate. It's about it's like the ladybug, and she knows this family, and she's beloved by the family, and it's now like the boy becomes a man, and now it's his turn. They drink of the unfertilized eggs, and it's his first time getting drunk, and it makes him, and it's like, but it's weird. It's just like, it's weird science fiction. I've been talking about this weird classic science fiction story by Octavia E. Butler called Bloodchild. Why? Because I see its roots here in this thing, man. This is a pretty decent standalone science fiction love story. I even told Doc a couple of weeks ago, you unromantic old fart. Don't be an unromantic old fart. Yes, she's a centipede. But it's about love, and it's about not judging on looks. It's about character. It's about your soul. It's about your connection. And it's like, I don't see any postmodern agenda messaging in this. I don't see this any kind of allegory, or I just see it as a science fiction love story. That's it. And I think it's pretty good. This is some comic book talk at your comic book station. Yeah, that's like, those are my good words for Fantastic Four, number 25. It's a much ballyhooed issue. It's gotten some attention, but it's like, all I hear is the outrage stuff. Oh no, Johnny's kissing a centipede. Oh, what are they trying to push on us now? Like, I don't see it. Am I being willfully ignorant to it or naive? Maybe I'm just being kind to it, in trying to accept it. But what's the first thing I thought of? It was Octavia E. Butler, a classic 20th century science fiction writer, a bona fide author. And I saw that sci-fi in this sci-fi. And as a sci-fi fan, dude, that's pretty fucking fun, man. Well, and thank you for letting me, maybe go on for a few minutes about something that you've been hearing people give a lot of heat to. And if you read it too, you know what I mean? If you didn't like, I get it too. I had to read this 3 times to understand. Oh, okay. Like, it was the background stuff. I got the love story, sure. But it didn't gross me out. And it was, yeah. Love is love, man. I know. Oh boy. What else did we read this week? Let's see. Let's pull up some comic books. But, the title of the show, though, I have to show you something. It's on my X, and it's somewhere on my let's see, it's somewhere in my timeline. I was talking about Robotech toys. What's Robotech? Robotech is a 1985 Americanized anime show, a serial with 3 unrelated shows were presented as 3 generations of the story of Earth fighting back against the forces of robotechnology and not evil. Well, some of them were kind of evil. Oh, were the Invid evil, or was that just dark force theory? What is dark force theory? That means that's science fiction. That's 20th century. That's 21st century science fiction. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Come on, you. Let's share this one. Okay. I got kind of drunk on Friday night. I stopped off at the pub on the way home after a hard week at work. I had a couple of pints of Guinness, and then I got a 6-pack of Miller Lite on the way home, and they're all gone. Yeah. And then when I woke up the next morning, I did what any responsible human would do of the 21st century in Western society. You check your social medias, clear. You check your texts and your voicemail and your outgoing calls, clear. And then you check your bank account and you notice that, holy shit, you did some drunk shopping. I did some drunk shopping. Oh my goodness. See you later, alligator. Have a good one, AL. Thank you so much for coming by. Hope everything's okay and getting better by the minute. That's true. All right. See you later, alligator. And what? I never drink in Prime. That's right. And so I bought this thing. It originally went for $212.90. And now it's down to $133. Is someone else leaving? I'm sorry. I have to catch up with the chat a bit. Sorry. Kind of like, yes, overly kind to that book. Butler did it, but yes, Butler did it better. But I just see the fingerprints. Just I can see a tradition. I think I'm being nice to it because hey Dan Sheehan, how's it going? I would love a BLT, please. Feel the kill. How are you? It's gonna be the last Red Sox game of the season. You're wrong. Wow. Hello. Yeah, 200. It's not a toy. It's a model. It's a 1 in 72nd scale. And I bought, but look at this, the color combination on this thing. This is it's fully transformable. It's got 3 modes. It's got fighter, the Valkyrie. It's got the Batroid, and it's got Jirawalk, Guardian mode. Robotech was 3 unrelated anime that were presented by Carl Masek into a 3-generation complete show. The first season was also known as the very successful 1981-1982 at least 26 episodes of Super Dimensional Fortress Macross. And this is where these designs come from. These are Macross toys. And this in particular is a very famous toy because the Transformers at Hasbro and yeah, I know. I guess it makes it a toy if you play with it. They're models if they're stationary and you just look at them and appreciate them. They're toys if you actively, go like, I can feel your hatred. It looks exactly like Transformers, Jetfire, Skyfire. Yes, exactly. So there was the toy that the famous Macross Valkyrie toy, and it had different paint jobs. You had the Jolly Roger that you've probably seen iconically. You've seen the red one, the blue one, the beige one with camouflage. They got 4 different heads. And this was sold as a Transformer, the first Autobot plane, and his name was Jetfire. And it came out in 1984, I believe, the year before Robotech did. So you had this there's like one famous commercial where you have an accurate to the toy Jetfire. So by the time that the season 2 of the first generation of Transformers comes out, they introduce this concept. It's a different looking robot, same colors, different name. Now his name is Skyfire, and he transforms into a different looking kind of plane. But he has, the same kind of dimensions. He's a little over big. And he can, and he's the Autobot aerial transport and attack unit. My best friend Brian had this toy. Hey, how's your father? How you doing? Good to see you. That's fine, Hope you're okay. Yeah, I mean, I had the it was almost as big as this. It was a Scott Bernard Cyclone, the Mospeed Robotech Season 3, the new generation. The motorcycle with the ride armor that transforms into the mini mecha. I love that, the Cyclone. But yeah, this is the so they call it the God of Flame with the fast pack armor. So this is like having a Jetfire. I've had my eye on this for about 2 years. I already have 4 Macross Valkyries. You can see that I have a playlist. You can see it in the playlist that I have unboxings. I had a Gundam phase, and I'm still buying these beautiful little toys. This is my favorite all-time. Sorry, I'm selecting screen. This is like my all-time favorite mecha. I mean, there are giant robots, and then there are mechas that transform, or they don't have to transform. But for me, this is perhaps, one of my favorite. Bye, Mo. Thank you so much for coming by. Salam, and have a great day. And I'm sorry about the mall, but we can, you know what I mean? I hope there was no tomfoolery involved, and I hope everything gets better. God bless. So these are also 1 in 72. Now this is great because this is like part 1 of Super Dimensional Fortress Macross. You have the mentor, big brother, and the little hero still learning. You have that great kind of just typical hero storytelling. And what happens to Oni-chan? What happens to the big brother? Roy Fokker, pilot of the Skull One, leader, the ace of the entire ship of the Super Dimensional Fortress Macross, gets killed. And now Rick has to grow up, accept a higher rank, and be the pilot of Skull One. So before that, when he was just a lieutenant, he flew the white with the red trim here. And this is called a VF-1J. You can tell by the head, the triangular viewpoint, and a single cannon on each side of the head with 2 cannons. Behind him, behind Rick, or Ichijo Hikaru, as he's known in Macross, are the blue and the gold. And they're friends. They're 3 very close friends because they're squadron mates and they're wingmen. And they fight against the Zentrani for survival out in space while they're stranded out there, trying to get them across back to Earth, even if there's any hope left on Earth. We don't know. But be just being harried and pursued by these aliens. What do they want? What do the aliens want? Well, that's that. I believe the Macross is built on the frame of one of their lost ships, and they're looking for their lost ship. Intergalactic misunderstanding, first contact, and falling in love too with an alien. One of my all-time favorite love stories is Max and Miria. Miria Purina, the ace of the Zentrani, the Melatrani, the female version of the Zentrani. And she finds her equal. Not her better. Well, Max beats her fair and square in their first duel. He's in this blue VF-1A. Now the VF-1S is the hero version with 4 cannons on the head. Now, and this is the blue is for Max Sterling or Maximilian Genius, and the I don't know his Japanese name, but Ben Dixon. And Ben gets killed after Roy does, and eventually Max and Miria fall in love, falling in love with the enemy, and she now fights on our side after all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's Max. Yeah, see, Maximilian Genius, and that's his second half of the show, the kind of season 2 part of Macross. Now he flies the 1J, and his wife is his wingman, and they're in their iconic colors. She always flew the red. He always flies the blue. But they're one of my favorite sci-fi love stories, man. I was 12 years old when I saw that. I got one. LT, I got one bookmarked, but it's a 1 in 144 scale plastic model kit. But this goes for $234. It's a 3-pack of these 172 Valkyries, and I got this too. With shipping and handling, I think it came under $500. Yeah, but these cost $78 each. Loose, they're $60 more each. And they have LEDs that light up on the cannon and on the thrusters and at the cockpits. And they're really, I've gotten a kit's concept before. Really nice kit. It's my, I got a VF-1S Roy Fokker with a fast pack. And I'm going to be setting them all up in my next place. Where's Miria Purina? Oh, here it is. Share this tab instead. LT. Yeah. So this is so now that I have that Max coming, I guess what I should do is get this as well. It's $70. It's an import. I mean, it's got a little Miria in there, but I mean, it's a model kit with decals, and you got to paint it, and it's just I haven't built a model in forever. It might look, maybe the box will look cute next, and I can prop up the. I don't know. I've got so many unbuilt. I got so many unbuilt. Gunpla. Yeah, I got literally 19 unbuilt Gunpla. But yeah, there's the Quadrille and Rao I wanted. There's an action figure version that's a 1 in 60 scale. Let's find that one. It's out of print. Yeah, it's a toy. It doesn't have a Miria inside of it, but it's a 160 scale. So, I mean, it's a lot bigger. And remember, the Zentrani Pilot is roughly the size of the fully transformed Battloid, because the Battloid is used to be able to fight hand-to-hand as a power suit for a Micronian, you know, to fight hand-to-hand with a Zentrani. Indeed. So yeah, that's the title of the show. I was like, oh no, I got 4 more fucking Valkyries. Oh, you would, wouldn't you? You fucking child. You perma child. What are you going to do with all this shit? I'm going to set them up behind me and, you know, just make it look nice for my YouTube show about pop culture stuff. You know? Yeah. Because this is fun. Yeah, I did model cars as a kid. I had a Miami Vice, the black car, the Daytona Spider. I had an F-14 Tomcat that was about yay big. That had the Jolly Roger tail as well. I had I did a Star Trek Enterprise, you know, just the refit Constitution, and it was the 1701. It was no bloody A, B, C, D, or E. I want the Enterprise. Let's see, but yeah, that's what happened to me. I splurged a bit. Actually, I sent it to my new at my new address. You know, my stepdad's going to bring it in for me, and when it gets there, like, you know, but it's my housewarming present to myself. There you go. Have some knickknacks. These things that you love. These little collectibles. You know, it's like what Robert Meyer Burnett says. Now is always the time. He used to do this show called Fully Articulated, which was about his love of 1/6 scale figures. And so I've gotten bitten by that bug. But another bug that he had too was about Sola Chogokin and Bandai High Metal series. So I've got 2 Souls of Chogokin. He turned me on to Eagle Moss. And as you can see, you know, like all of these enterprises, I've got a 4, 5, 6, 4 Battlestar Galactica, maybe 5 actually, with the golden Cylon. They got the gold Cylon right there, the Centurion Commander. That Han and Carbonite, that's a 1/6 scale from Sideshow or Hot Toys. It went back on sale and I was like, I've always wanted a Han and Carbonite. I deserve one. I never would have known about these really if it wasn't for Robert Meyer Burnett. Seriously, and as you know what I mean too. I mean, I don't watch as anymore. I like to chill out. I don't want to get wound up. And I like him though. Geez, he's all right. And yeah, but I like Gunpla Melly. She's so cute, and I've been watching her for a few years now. I haven't built any of the Gunplas that I bought yet. What else do we have? Oh, I want to show you this. Share this tab and set. So I'm going to buy this one too. This also is a 1/72 scale, but this is a plastic model. So this is a commitment. Yeah, I need to build this. This is from the feature release of the movie from 1984, the Macross movie, Do You Remember Love, which is a 2-hour and 20-minute long adaptation of like 26 episodes or so. And does a brilliant job with this flair and its adaptation, such as this, Max's original VF1A, where he's Skull 13. So he has the skull on his fast pack and on his canopy drop. Originally in the TV show, 36 episodes for Macross. Thank you, Lane. Only Roy Folker had the drop, the skull and crossbones on his Skull 1. No one else had the skull and crossbones. In the movie adaptation, Skull Squadron, they all have a skull and crossbones, which kind of makes more sense. So it's kind of like if you ever seen something such as this comes from the movie. The VF1A Super Batroid. Yeah. $35. Now in Act 2 of the movie, Max is flying a VF1S, the officer version with the 4 cannons on the head. He's flying the Skull 1. Now it doesn't have a fast pack on it because they're fighting on Earth over the sea in our atmosphere. The fast pack is only practicable and useful in space because you need that extra mobility, that speed and mobility, because space is so big, and you need, but with the drag of your atmosphere, you know what I mean? That's literally not aerodynamic. So you just see this regular Valkyrie fighter, the 001, with this color of blue, and it's Max's flying because Max is the ace, and he really is. He's better than Roy. He is better than Rick. I mean, they're great. They're great pilots, but Maximilian Sterling has always been the ace of Macross, the best pilot. You bite your tongue. I'm kidding. No, I love that movie. For me, seriously, that's some hand-drawn anime. It's such a good 80s movie. I love that, yeah. If you wanted to, Max and Miria. Exactly. I love it. It's one of my favorite science fiction love stories. But yeah, so I have my eye out for a VF1S Max's. Blink and you miss it. And because that's the fight, that's where he fights Miria and her Quadrillion Rao. But Max ends up on the Maltrani ship, and then they fold out of space, and so he's trapped with them. It's a reversal. I'm not sure I understand. Thank you, Siri. Neither do I. This intergalactic love. But Max ends up going with the Malatrani, and he gets macronized. So, I mean, I've only figured this out recently, that right at the end, you see the red and the blue Quadrillion Raos fighting at Bulldoz's army in the big finale sequence, and that's Max and Miria. Max doesn't need glasses anymore because they corrected his vision when they macronized him. But it's like a blink and you miss it. It's like this really nice scene. It's because they subverted our expectations. Yeah, they flipped that in the adaptation to the movie. I love that. All right, let us get back to the business at hand. I have some pre-recorded content to share. I was on location. And let me make sure that the audio works. And let's listen to here's about almost 12 minutes. It's a mini episode, and I shot it for today's show, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome to my next comic book shop. Okay, don't tell my local comic book shop, but I'm cheating on them. Thinking about, breaking up with them. Well, because the inevitability of life and relocating. Sometimes an adult got to move. And I have to move to Quincy relatively sooner than later. Welcome to New England Comics, Quincy Center. It used to be down there at the Rotary in its original first location. I used to go there about 40 years ago. Less than 40 years ago. My grandparents moved from Dorchester to Quincy in the mid-'80s, the later 80s. So by the time I'm in junior high, middle school, junior high. My grandparents have moved, and now coming to visit them includes a comic book shop, which is great. Before that, I had one comic book shop. My first local comic book shop was called Superhero Universe 3. It was on the corner of Washington and Winter Street in downtown Crossing at downtown Boston. And that was in the very early 80s, like 10, 11 years old, 81, 82, 83. This place was open. You know, it moved around the corner to West Street. And then eventually, you know, like all mom and pop places, kind of closed. But NEC Quincy, see, New England Comics is part of a local chain, and they've actually contracted in the past few years. Other videos on this, well, you could see New England Comics Malden, and then that time we went to New England Comics in Harvard Square, and it was closed. Remember that? And Brookline's closed too. Alston closed. But here we are. This is a big, old-fashioned comic book shop. They've been at this location for 25, 30 years. Yeah, as long as I've been like a... Hello. How's it going?
Hi there.
How are you? Hi, I'm Eric, and I used to shop at the Rotary with you way back in the day. Yeah, the old store. Ain't that cool? I'm moving back to Quincy after all these years, so I'm gonna eventually have to come back and get a pull list going. You know. Good to see you. Yeah, this is New England Comics Quincy.
Have you been living the last couple of days?
I've been living up in Medford and Somerville. So
okay, so still in the States.
Yeah, so Kamikaze and David Square has been my local for about 2 decades. They're a really good store. Yeah, so but yeah, I inherited my mom's condo around the corner, so I'm like, oh well, I'm coming back to Quincy. Awesome. This is a nice big store. You've been here for like 30 odd years now.
Well, we opened originally back there.
Right.
83, so
yeah.
40 years, 30 years here.
Yeah, 30 years here. And yeah, my grandparents.
This one is bigger, but a lot messier.
I remember the old one. That's where I bought my first wall comics off you guys over there. It was X-Men 140 and 141. 141, 140. They were $20 each on the wall back then. Yeah, so this is going to be our new local comic book shop in the very, very near future. This is New England Comics Quincy. They're a nice big size store. They've been here for a long time. They do a good business. This is alternate press comics. Came in America. That's good to see. And I'm wearing my all caps gear. They didn't throw me out. They're not judging me. Not yet. The cheap bins. Nice. Awesome. Hello, come here often. I'm looking for a girl that would like to cosplay. Destro, Baroness to my Destro. Ain't that cool? That's a pretty big store. Got a great selection. And I've noticed that when I go to NEC that they have variant covers. And I can be a sucker for a variant cover. I can. New comics are always over here. They have a great Silver Age room. Seriously. They got a lot of Silver Age books here. They press books. That's good if you're into that. I find that a bit depressing. Last week's new arrivals and the new arrivals for this week. Let's see. New arrivals. Got a bunch of these I still have to read. The only thing on my pull this week is waiting for me is Ultimate Spider-Man 9. Still on the fence for that. I mean, I'm not falling for the red band again. And yeah, new arrivals. And our manga section. So yeah, welcome home once again, old friend. And welcome back to your future and past local comic book shop. I love Kamikaze in Davis Square. I do. They've been taking very good care of me for the better part of 2 decades. And I'm honored that they are one of my local comic book shops. They won the Eisner Spirit Award in 2017. And that's just everything you need to know about my LCS. But this is also has been one of my LCSs and will continue to be. And yeah, so this is just a special extra. We got some Marvel Comics A to Z, A through Z, and we got all the Spidey comics. I am reading a bunch of these. Oh boy. Ooh, it's a variant cover. I'm gonna buy this to piss off my friends. This is Fantastic 425. It says the Space Age love story. That's getting everybody all in the Huffy Puff. I'm gonna get this. Gets everyone in a Huffy Puff. Johnny's in love with an alien. I think there's I'm fine with that. What else is going on this week? What can we pick up? Let's see. Where's Nightclub 2? Number 2. I don't see any. Rook Exodus. I would need Rook Exodus number 4. No, I got that. It appears that Nightclub number 2, Nightclub 2 number 2 is not here. But these are last week's new arrivals. These are this week's new arrivals. Look at that. It's a foil cover for Task Force 7. It's got a $6.99 cover price. Oh, there's Violent Flowers by Maria Lovett. That's got some gumption to it. Oh, there it is. Club number 2. Last one. All right, cool. You're coming with me. Got a home for you. I'm usually a sucker for the action figure variant cover. I am. Patra number 2. It was amazing. James Robinson and art by Scott Collins. I mean, it's 2 of 4. That was in my pirate chest this week. I really liked that. That was pretty good. Awesome. Yeah. And that's all we got right now. And this is just I had to come to hang out with my stepdad for a little bit, take care of some condo business and some life stuff, and bring my dad a pizza and hang out with him and have some supper, have a nice late lunch with my stepdad. And he's doing okay. We're doing okay. It's been 8 weeks to the day that we lost my mom. And but we're doing okay. And we're in it together. And love will get us through. And family. And that's a good thing. Thank you so very much for tuning into this special here. This wonderful local comic book shop. Barfly. That's a really fun book. Check it out. Seriously. They still got Ghost Machine number 6. Oh, Geiger number 6. Okay, yeah. Okay, you're coming with me. That's a really good single issue. Oh, I'm so glad I get to pick up some stuff here. Cool. All right. Well, you have a wonderful day. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. and we will see you in the funny pages. All right. Hello. Wonderful store. Soon to be my local comic book shop. Remember, it's they're local bookstores. How are we going to save comics? You'll show up to your local comic book shop and buy some funny books, and buy your supplies here too. Buy your books, your bags, your boards, and your boxes. Oh, we have a Star Wars section here. Oh, it's really cool. I literally need, oh, I want the original Marvel ones, and I want the newspaper strips volume 2. I need that one. And well, you have a good day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here at New England Comics Quincy Center, the second local comic book shop of my life and my next. Awesome. You have a wonderful day. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. We will see you in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye. Thank you all. That's cool. Yeah, that's my next local comic book shop. That is, and was my second in my lifetime. My first local was in downtown Crossing in downtown Boston. And my second local comic book shop was New England Comics Quincy Center. And the full circleness. It's a nice, thank you. Yeah, I mean, that was fun. I mean, I love my local comic book shops. How are we going to save comic books? You got to show up and buy them. That's how we're going to save comic books, together, and by enabling our local comic book shops to stay open with our patronage. Seriously, they need our patronage. We need to buy our books, our bags, our boards, our boxes at our local comic book shops. They are independent bookstores, and we need each other. Sure, we can pirate stuff off the internet all day, but if you really feel like they're good enough, well, go out and buy them. Spend your money on them. On that note, let's talk about some comic books I read this week. What did I read this week? Okay, I had no problem with Amazing Spider-Man number 58, written by Zeb Wells, drawn by Johnny Romita Jr., and inked by Scott Hanna. No, I got no problems with this book. It's Zeb Wells' last 3 issues. It's the culmination of the Tombstone Spider-Man play in the Wells run, and it's pretty darn good. Now, Wells, in my humble opinion, has had really good starts to his story arcs within his run, and then I feel like he falters and can't land his own arcs. So, to only judge him by his own consistency, he's probably gonna fall flat at 60. Like, everything that was good about this book, it's visual. A lot of it has, it's a lot of it is story. It's Peter making Peter choices. Spider-Man being Spider-Man. He's trying to save people. And that's my Spider-Man. And this, so there's no Jackpot, there's no MJ, there's no Paul, there's it's just very few characters, lots of fighting, lots of tension, lots of danger, lots of stakes. Real, so this book succeeds. The only, my drawbacks are the usual suspects. It's got to be lettering and the onomatopoeia, the digital drop and drag, cut and paste sound effects. On top of Johnny Romita Jr. and Scott Hanna's beautiful art, there's such a disconnect, with just. I feel like sometimes they're so oddly placed, and it's so it just kind of pulls me out of it, and it's very evident on the display. Because I read that pirated. But I'm really, this is like one of the strongest issues out of Wells' run so far that I've read. I think I probably read 30 issues out of these 60 or so. Out of his 60, I probably read half. Unwittingly, too, just kind of fell into it. I had no intentions of being an amazing Spider-Man reader, but I've been pretty much reading them monthly since I think issue 25 and 26. You know, the death of Ms. Marvel. And that's when I started noticing, you know, like, oh wow, Zeb Wells is pretty good. Like, oh no, he muffed that landing. Oh wow, this is really good. Oh no, he did it again. Oh wow, this is getting pretty good. Oh geez, it's rec rap and flighty shit. It would be like serious flighty, and just it got a little predictable. But the art, I think overall, the artists in Wells' run has elevated the mediocrity. Yay, that's it. And it's Nick Lowe, it's Tom Brevoort, it's the whole kit and caboodle, it's the whole office. And what's next for Spider-Man? We'll find out with Joe Kelly and Justina Ireland. And Ed McGuinness on art too, I hear. Ed McGuinness. The Avengers Annual 2024 wraps up the Infinity Watch mini event. I liked that. It was weird. Okay, there's this mini event in the Marvel annuals. Marvel does that with their annuals. And it was called the Infinity Watch. And it's like each one of the Infinity Stones is in a sentient humanoid, mostly people from Earth. And even Colleen Wing gets the Mind Stone. You know what I mean? So Colleen Wing just got like a semi-god-like power up in addition to her kung fu skills and her sword. And I guess her sword now is kind of like that Miles Morales kind of thing, or like that that maybe the Mystique thing, or the Nightcrawler thing. And Nightcrawler, they all can like manifest swords made out of their like latent power set. So I'm not sure if the sword is actually physical like usual, or if the sword is just an extension of the Mind Stone. All the same, you know what I mean? Yeah, but hey, interesting. Colleen Wing. I really liked her in the, Jessica Huntwick. She was cast as Colleen Wing in the Netflix adaptations. Yeah. She's cute. I'm too old for crushes. Daredevil, Woman Without Fear. I skipped a few. Like I skipped Chasm, Curse of Cain, issue 2. The Deadpool Team Up, issue number 2. Written and drawn by Rob Liefeld. It's fun. It's stupid. It's not a great comic. It's not good, but it's really fun. I mean, the art's really good, but the story's so cheesy and hammy. But it's a superhero comic book, and it doesn't take itself seriously, which is maybe a bit of a refreshing kind of thing. Maybe this over seriousness of these once lighter characters. But it's far from like I don't want to say it's bad. It's not bad. I don't want to say it's not good, because it's kind of great. It's fun. It has this X factor in it, and it's reckless abandonment. It's a sense of humor. It's a sense of pose, and the superhero pose, and the superhero. It's his Rob Liefeld's vision, his execution of it. It's not his camera work. It's not his panel work. But it's about heroic pose, and it's about heroic energy, and it's nonsensical because this is nonsensical. This is about superheroes in tights using violence as a negotiation dispute resolution tool. But that's what the superhero comics are intrinsically. So yeah, it has a cartoony feel to it. I'm for it. I really am. I'm so tickled pink by this. This will be Rob Liefeld's final Deadpool story. Allegedly. Namor number 3, I think of 6. I'm not sure. I could look that up. You know, you could. It's a click away. It's here and there. Where's Namor number 3 on this list? Oh, here it is. Namor number 3. It's written by Jason Aaron, art by Paul Davidson, and it's going 6 issues. Yeah, and at least 6 issues. It's solicited up to December. So yeah, I'm not sure. It does not say final issue. It does it, but it's at 6 issues. So this is issue 3 of potentially 6. That means we're at the beginning of Act 2. So nothing much really happens. It's all story-ish. I mean, I was really surprised by the last issue. Why does he keep moving his head like that? Oh, because my microphone's in the way. I can just move my microphone, but that'll take all the fun out of it. It's Namor number 3. We have 1 variant cover. The 7 kings battle to rule the seas. It's Namor number 3, but it's written by Jason Aaron. And Jason Aaron is also writing Batman Off-World, which that came out the previous week. Oops. That suffered some delays as well. Batman Off-World was really fun. Maybe it was the week before that. Maybe I should just put it into the search. Batman Off-World. Here we are. It's been solicited for 6 issues. So number 5 just came out, so it's only got 1 more issue left. But the thing is, it's written. Yeah, this is the last. So yeah, that's only going 6 issues. So as much as Batman Off-World is a great Batman story with great art by Doug Mahnke, it suffers from being written for the trade. So it's like it's the 5th issue and it reads like a 5th issue because, you know, it just, I mean, Batman Off-World, yeah, that's like kind of like end of Act 2, beginning of Act 3, maybe ish, because the hero's at his nadir, at his lowest point, literally, and so it only comes resolution. Batman Off Schedule. Yeah, the trade paperback's already solicited too, and but yeah, Namor number 3. We were just getting to some good old fashioned, you know, name calling over Namor number 3, and NYX number 3. It focuses on Enoli, and he's a mutant with a big arm, and he's green, and he grew up as like, you know, and like, you know, as an X-Man kind of thing. So you know, he's part of the past 20 odd years of X-Men books and characters that I'm not familiar with. There were so many new and younger characters from like the 90s and the double aughts and the 10s. There was like Generation Next. There were some, you know, there were plenty of students at the Academy. And that's a good thing about X-Men. There's so many stories out there that you can get to if you haven't gotten to them yet. And yeah, and it's just NYX. It's just Lansing Kelly, and yeah, that's it. Phases of the Moon Knight. It's 2 stories of Moon Knight. One that was set in the kind of the Silver Age. That looked really kind of. It had that overuse of Ben-Day dots. You know, I love that. Let's see. The overuse of Ben-Day dots. Is it right here? Yeah, Moon Knight. How do I get that thing? The thingy. Give me the thingy. Aha, the thingy. Give me the thingy. That's one of my favorite lines from Casanova by Matt Fraction, Gabriel Ba, and Fabio Moon. Oh boy. It's Jed MacKay does one story. Declan Shalvey does the other one. It's two Moon Knight stories, one set in the far future. But the first one's called Nighttime in the City, written by Jed MacKay, with art by Jorge Fornes. I love beautiful. Declan Shalvey not only writes and does art, but he does the design of this book. So like this page here, this is Declan Shalvey's work. He designed this page. Chooses the font, you know what I mean, puts it in a certain order, makes that these are all his choices, that you know what I mean. And that's a part of magazine publication that I love. I have such an appreciation for that, the light table, non-photo blue pencils, marking up a page, justification, ruling, columns, font, current, you know what I mean. There's so many these little things. But look, okay, that whole thing I'm always talking about, the overuse of the Ben-Day dot filter in digital art, because this is supposed to look like a 1970s book, art-wise, panel-wise, even the onomatopoeia in this, the sound effects look so good in this. They look very hand-drawn. They might even be. So this is called Nighttime in the City. And it's got that 1970s look and feel to it. And notice that effect follows over into the gutters as well. So it's not just the panels, but the art's pretty good. I mean, it's definitely done for effect, because this is a Silver Age Moon Knight. Like I would have bought off the spinner rack. It was interesting. Moon Knight was 75 cents in the 50 to 60 cent age. You know what I mean? At the end, near the end of its run. Yeah. For as much as I remember. Let's see. What should I choose? Let's go to the first page. We're going to look at a book. But first, let's talk about other books. Phoenix #3, written by Stephanie Phillips. Sometimes a bad book can be fun, and sometimes a book is bad. And this is not a good book. I don't like pig piling on writers who everyone else pig piles on. I think everyone should be judged on the most current story that we're talking about at that time. But if the body of that work is always it's just like, hey, you have Tom King. He's very reliable. Who's buying Tom King and who's celebrating him? I don't know. It doesn't seem like, like, where are the Tom King? I don't care. They can keep to themselves. But I don't want to bag on Stephanie Phillips or her, you know what I mean? Just like, who is she? How did she get this job? She's a trust fund baby. Who cares? That's got nothing to do with me. I met her once at a con 2 years ago, and she seemed like a nice kid. I'm not a kid. I'm old, so everyone's a kid to me. But, I haven't read much things that made me go, wow, about Stephanie Phillips, I think. Cap Wolf. There's so few and far between that, Oh, I'm sorry. X-Force number 3, Wolverine Revenge number 2. Wolverine Revenge is by Jonathan Hickman with wonderful art by Greg Capullo. But it's just so bored. I mean, I'm kind of bored with it already. X-Men number 3 wasn't that bad. I mean, I like the character voices. I like Gail Simone's Rogue voice. The whole thing of being a furry, that's just 2 lines of dialogue. And it's just, he's always been Fuzzy Elf. It's just someone makes a furry crack at him and he just like retorts it. But it's like, it's just, there are so many other things about that book to like than just to focus on that. There were literally 2 word balloons using the word, you know what I mean? Just, and it wasn't about furries or about their community or about their predilections or, you know what I mean? Whatever the words we use. There's so much negativity out there. But it's like Rogue made a danger room out of like wood. You know what I mean? She's like, welcome to the danger room, kids. And so like your first mission's this: take the belt from the elf. And it was just, so it's training. You know, we're finding out more about the younger mutants, these new mutants, their power sets and their backgrounds, their personalities. And it's kind of like a stock kind of a book, because it's just like, you know, hey, like, you know, here's this one, here's that one. You know, and one of them says, I get the belt. Does this mean I win? There was Venom War Zombieites number 2. There was Venom War Daredevil number 1, which is a standalone. But the thing was, it was written by Chris Condon. Chris Condon is going to start doing some more Big 2 work, but he did. He's been doing that Texas line on Image Comics. I was unaware of it until I caught a hold of the Enfield Gang Massacre from issue 1. And with art by Jacob Phillips and Sean Phillips' son. And it was an amazing American Western book of the Wild West. Beautiful art, such a curated color palette, great story, great ending, 6 issues. It was just like 3 acts, great story. I was very impressed. He's going to take over Green Arrow from Joshua Williamson over on DC Comics very soon, right at, you know, right in time for this new All In initiative. So I'm going to keep my eye on Green Arrow, see where that goes. I think that will be interesting. People got a lot of faith in Chris Condon coming over and taking over some superhero books like this. So what about his Daredevil? And it's Venom War Daredevil. So it's about Daredevil staving off their corner of Chelsea, aka Hell's Kitchen, that neighborhood of Manhattan, of Marvel Manhattan, that, you know, you don't mess with because of the Daredevils. What's the status quo? Is that the public Daredevil is Elektra, who's obviously a woman, and the other Daredevil, the original Daredevil, Matt Murdock, well, he's literally died and come back to life, and in this new life, he is a Catholic priest. So he's Father Matt Murdock, and he's in charge of an orphanage. It sounds like an NBC movie of the night kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like Highway to Heaven or Meets the Equalizer, you know, but he's slowly coming back to, you know, to owning Daredevil, because how do you be like, you know, a super violent superhero, but also have like, you know, give the word of the Lord of the Prince of Peace on Sundays and confession and things. It's written by Solomon Ahmed right now over on Daredevil. It's interesting. Beautiful John Romita Jr., Scott Hanna covers. Not the best Daredevil stories in my humble opinion, but the Venom War Daredevil number 1 was written by Chris Condon. And, you know, in the beginning, because it's about focus at the beginning of it is on Elektra and Elektra Daredevil. And there's literally a part where she's like, but I am no man kind of thing. And it's just like, it's right out of Return of the King, Lord of the Rings, so much so that it's not pastiche, it's cliche. It's not homage, it's annoyance. It's not kind, it's cringy. A little bit, you know what I mean? That's how I felt. I was like, oh, gee, really? But Matt never puts on the costume because he's saving the kids in the orphanage from the symbiotes that are all over Marvel Manhattan. That town never catches a break. I swear there was just a gang war. There was just a dark web. there was just Orcus fighting the X-Men. All in the past few weeks. Can't you take some of this shit to Chicago? Come on. Indianapolis? Something. Boy, but it ended well. It landed well. Chris Condon really ended it. I liked it, using something intrinsic to this experience of being at a church parish. You know, the orphanage is adjacent to the church, and sorry, I'm going to spoil it, but they're going to use the Matt figures out the church bell thing. And what's the church bell? Well, symbiotes hate sonic waves. That's how Peter Parker got the first symbiote that eventually became Venom. But that's how he separated himself from the symbiote that first time, was after Reed Richards figured out the sonic wave thing. Peter Parker went up to the church bell and had that, that big moment, and so it was nice that you bring that back. But also it's kind of practical because Matt can't put on the costume. He's got to stay public and, and protect the kids, while Electra Daredevil's down the hall fending off everyone from, and then they banter. But it works. So it's actually a pretty decent, strong, standalone tie-in issue to a minor, major Marvel event. Huh? Exactly. Well, if you're gonna read, and you can just you can read it, and it's fine. Yeah. Phil the Kill. I'm working through the Frank Miller Daredevil run right now. I would never have guessed I would enjoy that character, but this run is fascinating, and I love it. It's good stuff. It was one of the first books I ever bought with regularity off the spinner rack. Summer of 1981. It was 50 cents. I was 8 years old, going on 9, and going to the day camp. There was a bodega, or what we would call a corner store here in Boston, and they had a spinner rack, and I had 4 bits in my pocket, and I have it again on my spinner rack in my living room, Daredevil 175, which is written and drawn by Frank Miller, inked by Klaus Janssen. I got Klaus to sign it in April 2022, and I got Frank to sign it in August of 2022. And I got to share with them my favorite page. And Frank talked to me for a minute. It was great. I had a good experience with Frank Miller. Yeah, and Klaus Janssen. And good luck with that. That's really good. And I hope you continue into the Ann Nesenti stuff too, and the G.K. Chesterton stuff too, up until a lot of that stuff. I mean, Johnny Romita Jr., he's inked by Al Williamson during the Ann Nesenti stuff. I love Johnny Jr.'s stuff, and it goes back, way back. Corner store as they stay up here. That's right. At the corner store. Let's look at a comic book. Dun, 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 dun. We're going to look at a comic book. We're going to look at a comic book. A comic book. A Star Wars comic book. Rated T for teen. This is cover art by Phil Noto. He does all the Star Wars books. He's been doing the majority of all the Star Wars books in Marvel since 2015. Seriously. He's got a good eye for photorealism and doing actors and actresses. He's really, really good. And he uses it looks like, sometimes it looks like watercolors. He's also, he's a really good artist, often paired with Jerry Duggan. I've met them a couple of times. they did this wonderful image book, 6 issues, called The Infinite Horizon. It was a 6-issue modernization of Homer's The Odyssey. And they, you know, I got them both to sign issue number 1. That was nice. Drink of water. But yeah, that doesn't look like Ahsoka. That looks like Rosario Dawson. That doesn't look like Harrison Dula. That looks like Mary Elizabeth Winstead. That doesn't look like Sabine Wren. That looks like her actress, of whom was really pretty. But I don't get crushes on actresses anymore. But that's the whole point. That's that's Nato's strengths. And here we go. Padawan, Rebel, Ronin. She has been many things, but above all, she has defended peace and justice throughout a galaxy rife with conflict, losing mentors and friends in the process. She is Star Wars Ahsoka. This is the Marvel Comics adaptation of the Disney Plus TV show. I also have read the Obi-Wan Kenobi show like this. I've read Mandalorian season 2 like this, or most of it. I don't think they've done Andor. See, I read every Star Wars comic book that's in my pirate chest. I want there to be good Star Wars. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. This is issue 3, I think, of 5 or maybe 6. So it's already written. I don't think that the issues, or maybe the issues equal the, oh, gee, there he is. Ladies and gentlemen, George Lucas, as I live and breathe. It's like we mentioned his name and he shows up. Yeah, the nice design. Carlos Lau is the designer. He designed this page. So you got Ahsoka's, distinctive, iconic, head thing. Yeah, there's probably, I know there's got to be a succinct term for her face markings and her tendril markings. And you also see the design of the place between time or something like that. Yeah, I don't even try to remember Disney canon stuff. It's just, but I don't hate them either. I want no part of this Civil War. So Sabine Wren, as we left her, she got stabbed in the gut by the little blonde Sithling half Jedi. There's no such thing as a gray Jedi, but also remember, Disney canon is Disney canon. Lucas canon is Lucas canon. I'm just an Old Testament kind of guy. All right, that's my belief system. I can respect your beliefs and not practice them. The voice of the droid in the show is voiced by David Tennant, former Doctor Who. Yeah, and I wonder if Hu Wang is it. The droid's name is Huang, but I think that's Hu Yang, but I think that's Chinese for 2 numbers. So his name follows the whole number pun of Star Wars droids. But it's maybe they've ran out of Western numbers, or maybe it's just as relevant as saying like Juhachi. If his name was Juhachi, no, that means 18 in Japanese. I know that from Dragon Ball Z. Juhachi no Jingo Ningen Juhachi no. That means artificial human number 18. Each Nissan Yan Go Rook Hachi each Hachi Julia Hachi. Boy, it's been a long time since I counted in Japanese. I don't have to today. But yeah, I used to know 17 and 18. And it just we're having a training montage with Sabine and Ahsoka. Like Ahsoka is basically taking Sabine back as her Padawan learner. You know, it's kind of like redoing the relationship with Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger and Rebels. See, this is like Rebels, the live action TV show. If you know what Rebels is, it's its own story. It brought in several things into canon, and these characters. And this is basically the TV show. That's Chopper. That's Jason Syndulla. That's Kanan Jarrus's kid. Yeah, they were in love. That was a great. Hey, Kanan Jarrus loved an alien. He was a human, and he loved a Twi'lek, and they made a baby because they loved each other. They loved each other so much they made a new person. Man and a woman had a little baby. There was 3. They were happy. 3 is a magic number. Oh. Schoolhouse Rock, anyone? All righty. And that is a Star Wars comic book. Yeah. That's $4.99 of your money. Also, Ultimate Spider-Man came around this week too. Because what's in the bag? What's in the bag? What are we going to? We're going to see what we bought this week at the local comic book shop. Only one comic book in my pull list this week. So much so I paid cash because it's like minimum transaction is $10, and this is a $4.99 book, and I got 10% off for being a pull lister. I got this. Yeah. Ultimate Spider-Man number 9. Hey, look, Star Wars Lego. And now we're doing mashup properties. Like what if universes? Like there's the good Darth Vader from the Star Wars Infinity's Return of the Jedi, where Luke saved him, fighting Darth Jar Jar. He was the secret Sith Lord. And look, it's an evil Millennium Falcon with an X-Wing TIE Fighter mashup and a TIE Fighter X-Wing mashup. Oh, hey, it's what if Star Wars is. Save the galaxy or don't. Oh boy. But yeah, this is Ultimate Spider-Man. This is issue 9. I've got all 9 issues. It's beautiful. Great art by Marco Cicchetto. It does go month by month by month. So is it like new universe? Is it in real time? For the first year, probably. That's the conceit. All the book. I don't think all the books work like this, do they? Maybe they do. See, I'm not. I look at Ultimate X-Men, but I don't read it anymore. But this is the odd friendship between Harry Osborn and Peter Parker in this Ultimate Universe, and they meet a supervillain, and Harry's viciousness kicks in. Is it his viciousness, or is it the permission that the AI that's based on his dead father that's inside of the Green Goblin suit? Yeah. Ain't that fun? Ain't that something? So yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man. It's okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like you get a better look at the cover on the inside cover, which is usually a valuable advertising spot, you know. But yeah, I continue to buy this book. It's okay. It's the only Ultimate book I'm buying. And I got that from my local comic book shop. But I got 3 books at that second shop. If you saw the other the film stuff, well, here it is. It's Nightclub issue number 2, I think, of 6. Fun tale, teenage vampires. And it's going to go on. It's going to go, things are going wrong. Yay. Is it Jupiter's Legacy finale coming out soon, too? It's Mark Miller, man. One on Ramirez. The first one was really good, too. It's like, what would you do if you were a teenage vampire? Would you use your powers for good? So it's got this like Spider-Man kind of feel to it. It's pretty fun. What's up, James? Good to hear from you. Good to see you. As you discussed earlier, yeah, I picked up Fantastic Four number 25. I got a Francis Manapul. Is this a Francis Manapul? Let's see. No, this is Giuseppe Camicola. Or is this Great Capullo? I have to look with my glasses. It says variant cover. Yes. With Guru effects. Okay, so this is Giuseppe Camicola. The issue 25. The notorious. Notorious. And I got Geiger number 6. That's the Francis Manapul B cover. I got a variant cover. This is a great comic. Here's the splash page. It's a standalone about the dog. It's really fun. The art is great. It's got a nice, simple kind of show don't tell story to it, set in this Geiger. This is the first issue of Geiger I bought. It's a really good book, and that's what I bought this week. Well, awesome. Thank you so very much. Please like and subscribe. I would love to earn your subscription. It's time for me to go and make some supper. I'm having a ribeye steak and getting myself ready for a week full of work. I got my laundry done. And it's folded and put away. First thing I do in the morning, I make my bed. You know what I mean? And I wake up with gratitude in my heart. You can catch us all week. Usually we do a gratitude list show in the morning. It helps me. And hopefully I can pay it forward. And you can help yourself too with a little gratitude in your life. For the past 5 years, I've been using gratitude as an active ingredient in my life. It was suggested to me by Gary Beekler of Nerdrotic. He said, have you tried gratitude? I'm like, no, I will. And make a gratitude list. And it's really helped my life on a day-to-day business. I'm still the same person, and I still have anxieties and fears and bad days. Sure. It's just called being a person and being human. But it had such a profound effect on my self-talk. And the way I'm a nicer person to myself now. And being a nicer to myself, it's so much easier to be nicer to other people, especially when they fail you, as much as you fail yourself, so I'm very forgiving of myself now. And I find myself more forgiving of others, and I'm patient with myself now. And so it's like the respect that you give yourself, it just magnifies when you apply it to other people. And I found that through gratitude. So, thank you, Gary Beekler of Nerdrotic. He suggested, he had 2 very salient pieces of advice for me. One was I started like everyone else on my iPhone with a ring clip, you know what I mean? With a ring light and an iPhone clip and a tripod, a USB cord. You just need a pretty good mic, a decent webcam, and something to say. That's a paraphrase. But basically, that's kind of what Gary said. And you too can do this YouTube thing. Seriously, it's there. Do it. And gratitude list. Make a gratitude list. I mean, I do it my own way. I adapted it. I overcame. I adjusted it for this individual's experience. And I fine-tuned it so it works for me. So it's not a classic gratitude list. I don't even know what the expectation of it is, besides self-help. And I started off with what I call the Foundation 8. And I say, I am grateful for my family, my friends, my faith, my freedom, my health, my union job, a good night's sleep, and a solid breakfast. And from there, I build on that and I elaborate. And that's the foundation, the foundation of my day. From my foundation, I can then build the dwelling that's going to sustain this existence. And may it be dry and warm and safe. You know what I mean? It's an allegory, but it's there for you. It was there for me, and I just want to pay that forward. So tune in the mornings, usually about 6, 7 a.m. Depends on how fickle the Wi-Fi is at work. Alrighty, well, you have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in. We love comic books and pop culture here. I got drunk, and I spent a lot of money on some of my favorite collectibles. I've had my eye on them for a while. They literally came down in price. I am my mother's son. It's not what you spend, it's what you save. And I bought some things that I really, really, really wanted. And it makes me happy to be a geek and to share this geek love with everyone out here who tunes in. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye.